good morning. It's another beautiful morning. We're coming to you live from our studios here on the MDI Road. This is the AM show, of course, the Thursday edition. We're bringing you the best of current affairs, entertainment, sports, and of course, some exciting interviews with the people who matter. My name is Fatilika Muloshi, and as usual, my co-host is Khadija Bokum. Good morning, Khadija.
Good morning, Muloshi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, and you?
I'm great. It's the 16 days of activism, and I hope you're keeping your space busy.
All the way up. We should have, orange everywhere. But
I wore orange yesterday, though, so I think that is why I decided to tone it down a little bit.
Okay, quite nice.
What's coming up this morning?
Well, before we head to what is happening today, we'll go with a short commercial break, and when we come back, we continue.
Right.
Welcome back. Before we go with the interesting studio discussion, we will start the day with our breakfast segment. Of course, my favorite part of the show. Let's see what we have on the menu today.
Welcome to GRTS breakfast segment show. Today, I'm presenting to you a meal, a very delicious meal in 10. So basically, we've got avocado here, which is of course a very nutritious, highly nutritious, very beautiful fats. We've got the sardine, and I've got lettuce, which is mixed lettuce, or if you can have it like salad at home. Then we have cherry tomatoes, and I've got eggs. I've also got beans, which are of course the black-eyed beans, of course eggs. Then we got onions, spring onions, and a chili. I've got a mixture of spices or seasoning, which is of course the salt and pepper mixed together just to make it easier for us on the show. So first of all, we need to know why am I using all these ingredients at the same time. Today, fish is becoming a very big item in the market, and then people really need to know what are the other variations of getting a fish meal within our homes. So whatever fish you can get from the fish market, be it fresh from the sea or from a fishmonger, we can equally use sardine in tins to give us the same nutritious value and also quality of feeding in our households. Then of course beans, we know beans are very, very high when it comes to almost they are the best, because whatever meat or beef is got, beans have got it, but of course with less of the ions that we got in the beefs. So today I started with, of course, I've got onions. Of course, they are all washed to make sure we save time, but I can always wash again for you to see that. You can hear the onions talking to me in the frying pan, obviously. Then, of course, we need it for extra amounts and stuff like that. So, of course, I would like to make it a bit more. Don't try this at home if you're not fully confident with knives. So I'm sauteing, which is kind of like frying, slow frying or low heat frying of my onions, just to make sure they are broken into pieces as are in the mineral. You don't really need onions, overcooked, because in that way you're getting into a different level of balancing. Of course, onions got what we call it sedative effects, meaning they can help you sleep well. And they are also flavor enhancers, and they give you a better taste, and also gives you what we call the texture on the palate. So now that I've got the onion sauteed, all I need to do now is to season it, which of course I've got the salt and pepper here ready. So I'll just do a little teaspoon. Because this is not up to the size of a teaspoon, that's why I'm doing more into it. I will pour in now my high protein. So whatever meals we preparing before you should be done within 10 minutes and presented on the table within the same 10 minutes. So now that I've got this going on there, I've got my cherry tomatoes, which are still washed. Like I said, they've all been washed already, but nothing wrong having to wash again. So I cut them in lengthways. These are cherry plums, by the way, beautiful with flavors. So I'm just still gonna add this into it. You can add as many as you want, depending on your love to onions. See, sometimes we like to do our nyegas in many different ways, but it's also good to have it in this version. So now while this is preparing, and then I'm sure the flavors are now interacting and then it's infusing within itself. So I need to get myself ready with the salad because the meal is just about to be ready. Almost every vegetable before consuming, you need to get it washed. Well, the best way to wash a salad or lettuce is having to make sure it's washed in acid, which is either lemon juice, vinegar, or sometimes they use chlorine. Or if you don't have any of those, you can always go back to fresh, clean water. The reason why you use chlorine or acids into lettuce is because lettuce do have some insects that will like to consume or be on them, but they survive on leaves and their skins are very soft. So when you have acid over them, it burns the skins and they don't survive it. They will have to die. So that's why we use that. So now that this is ready, I'll turn it off. The reason of me turning it off, I don't want it overly hot. I know at home we always call it pear, but this is not a pear. A pear is kind of like, it's got the look of a guava at home. Almost they all have the similar guava look, but a pear would have kind of more like the old fluorescent filament bulbs. But this is called a pear, avocado. The best to do with an avocado is use a spoon to go, get this, and then you grab it, it comes out. There are many ways. Either you cut it again and do like you do a mango. Cross, 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 cross. Then you open it this way. It's all allowed. Then you can easily pour it all out without having to waste time. And it will come out very nice and clean. So either this way. So I'm gonna still use the skin of it. And then this one, you can get this also in a different way, using a spoon again. The reason why I use a spoon, because the shape of an avocado is almost the shape of a spoon. So you can always go this way, then it helps you to get it scooped out nicely. You got it out again. Then the skin, I wouldn't need that. Then this will stay around there because I wouldn't need it too. So then, because that one was cross-cross, this one also would be of the same he'll be cutting. For avocado or greens like this, the best to be able to enhance their flavors out is having to squeeze a bit of lemon juice over it, and it brings the flavors out. These lemons or all these vegetables here and salads have been cleaned and cleaned. So don't you worry. The reason why I'm going this way is because before cutting a lime or a lemon, you need to squeeze so that it gets broken inside, and while squeezing it, it's easier to get the juice out. So then squeeze that lemon or lime actually. Fine. Now my meal in 10 is ready and about to be presented to you or plated to you. Plate is wiped up nice and dry before being on display. So now I have the beans mixture ready, the avocado is ready, and I've got the sardine. You've got loads of this beautiful combination to get you a really balanced diet in your morning to kickstart your day. So here we go with the presentation. The salad already washed. So I'm doing the salad on one area only. Then I'll have to use this avocado. I think the Kamarakundas, when they see this, they will start going, "Oi." You know them, when it comes to food, they don't joke. They're always on point. They're never late. They will be late for school, they will be late for other things, but when it comes to food, they will always be the ones to be there first. But that's the nature of the Kamarakundas. What I've done with these eggs, these are perfectly soft boiled eggs. I mean, sometimes we get our eggs overcooked that you cannot even see the difference between a yolk and a white. But here we go. Now when you open it, you can see it, voila, runny in the middle. That is what we're talking about. And then you just go like that. Another one here. So now I'm gonna flake this sardine that's actually been nicely crispy fried. And then now my food is ready. All I need to do is having to add just a bit of reddish coloring into it, just to give that color burst. Then this is just spring onion. I know you have a lot of greens on it. But at the end of the day, what's wrong in having more greens on your plate? It can only go greener. Greener, the better. Here we go. That's your meal in 10. Fresh avocado, perfectly running boiled egg, crunchy fried sardine, and a few halves of cherry plum tomatoes. Here we go, meals in 10. Have a bite. Tell us how you feel about it. I am happy with my presentation. Obviously, it's big for all the Kamarakundas to enjoy themselves. For me, as a Bojan, I'll go a small drop. Meals in 10, GRTS only breakfast segment. Chef Bojan, presenter today. Thank you so much.
All right, so welcome back from that breakfast segment with the chef there. I hope you're happy.
Well, I'm very happy, but not too happy because I can't have it. I can't have it, and I need it.
Yeah, you're always craving for the things that the chef is preparing, but maybe we should get those stuff for us here on the show so that at least we'll be having a taste of it. But now moving on, high blood pressure is a common condition in which the long-term force of the blood against your artery walls is high enough that it may eventually cause health problems, such as heart disease. Now, blood pressure is determined both by the amount of blood your heart pumps and the amount of resistance to blood flow in your arteries. High blood pressure generally develops over many years, and it affects nearly everyone eventually. Fortunately, high blood pressure can be easily detected, and once you know you have high blood pressure, you can work with doctors to control it. Now, that's exactly what some volunteers are doing, helping people to know their pressure. Staff of InnovaRx Global Health, as part of their corporate social responsibility, continue to conduct their weekly free screening of blood pressure and blood glucose screening for people in communities across the Greater Banjul and the West Coast region. Now, for more on what necessitated the screening and its importance, we are now joined live in the studio by Clarissa Mendy, a registered nurse with a BSc in nursing, and Fatu Jeng, wellness consultant at InnovaRx Global Health. Good morning, ladies, and welcome to the AM show.
Good morning.
It's good to have you here. Now, let me first of all start with Clarissa. Clarissa, talk to us about the screening. When we say IGH in the first place, blood pressure and blood glucose screening, what are we talking about?
All right, thank you very much. Well, the IGH, what's your number screening, that's what we call it. We call it what's your number screening. It's just basically it's like an awareness that we do for the people in the society,
right,
to make sure they know their status with regards to the high blood pressure and the blood sugar as well, because over the years, we noticed that people die from non-communicable diseases, especially high blood pressure, which is hypertension, and diabetes, which is the high blood glucose. So that is why IGH decided to start the screening process so that everyone would be aware of their status, so that they would know what further thing to do, the next step to have a better health care. So what we basically do is we go to communities, especially people who are less privileged, to go to the hospitals to check up themselves, because we call hypertension as a silent killer. You actually don't even know that you are having it until it gets to the stage where you can't control it anymore. So that is why we actually advise people do their screenings, and so that they can know if they have the high blood pressure or if they have the high blood sugar. So that is actually what the what's your number is basically about.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So how did you come to see the need for such a screening? Did you do like sort of a study across the country to find out that there is indeed a need for it?
Okay. Right, Dr. Baji, who is our CEO of InnovaRx Global Health, he had a story about his grandmother actually, who was unable to get a proper health screening, and she died because of a non-communicable diseases, which is the high blood pressure. And also, looking at the Gambia community, we saw that the lifespan of Gambia is less than 60. People usually, die around the age of 60. The lifespan is really short.
Yeah.
So because of that, we also noticed that most of these deaths is actually because of the non-communicable diseases that is in the country. So people are not aware until the last stage. So before a patient would even come and you say, oh, you have high blood pressure, somebody might just be walking or in their house, and then they just slump, and before we know what is happening, the patient is dead. And you keep asking yourself, what actually is the cause of the death? You can't really wrap your hands around what caused the death. But if we are able to, do the screening on time, it will be, you will know that, okay, I have this condition, and then I'll be able to manage it.
Right.
So it's because of the short lifespan, the statistics that has shown that, okay, people die more of non-communicable disease than communicable diseases, that made our CEO to come up with the idea of starting the what's your number screening, so that everyone would know about their status and would have a better way of managing it.
Quite important. Now, basically, that means means that people need to do early screening to know what is wrong with them than sitting at the end stage when it is out of control and you can't do nothing about it.
Yeah,
now let's talk about the activity itself, the communities that you have visited. How have people been turning out?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so the turnout has been great so far because ever since we started the What's Your Number screening, most times we just walk into communities and then we try to draw people's attentions. Even though sometimes people are not aware before we're coming, but once they know that we're in the communities, they come out in their numbers, because I've seen something during our What's Your Number, that is that a lot of Gambians are becoming aware of the importance of their health.
Right.
So whenever we walk into these communities, you see a lot of young people, especially women, coming out in their numbers. And yeah, turnouts have been great.
So, well, quite interesting that people are coming out, willing to do the screening, which is very important. So now, so far, how has your results been, the screening results in these communities that you have been to? How is the results?
Let me give Lemon as the example, because that's the most recent that we've done. When we went to Lemon, we had over 100 screenings. And to be honest, the results were very impressive because most of the people that we screened were very healthy. Their blood pressures were normal and their blood glucose was normal. And when we tried to engage some of them on how they were able to keep this, people were telling us that they were making sure that they were respecting their proper diet, that they were making sure they were eating healthy. We had a man who came in, he was 80-something years old, and he looked very strong and young. He told us that the reason why he's not usually bothered about high blood pressure or blood sugar is because he's always eating healthy. Most of the time he's eating findi or he's eating
so he felt like that was okay to keep him healthy.
To keep him healthy. And he was waking up every morning to do exercise. So once we go out to the communities and we're doing the screening, you see people come in and they tell you, I want to know what my numbers are, but I'm also keeping healthy because I know these are the foods that increase the risks of high blood pressure and blood sugar.
So basically it's all about keeping your balanced diet and staying healthy and fit.
So Clarissa, would you recommend eating findi as a way of keeping intact?
Yes, actually, because findi has low starch, which is very good we actually advise people living with diabetes, which is the high blood glucose, to eat food that has less starch, which findi is one of them, chere is one of them.
Like rice.
Yes, rice is very heavy.
Yeah,
so we actually advise them to cut down on the intake of rice because it's a very heavy carbohydrate to eat. And for a diabetes patient, we don't want them to eat something like that. So findi is very good, actually. Yes.
Quite interesting.
Right. So aside from the screening, Fadia, let's come to you. What other activities do you have on the pipeline?
So as part of our social corporate responsibilities, we're trying to get in touch with probably youth organizations, because recently I was promoted by my office to represent the communications and outreach team.
Congratulations.
So, thank you.
We love to see it.
Thank you. So part of the things that we're planning to do is to be able to work with youth organizations that are currently doing gender-based violence. Because if you know me, you know I love gender-based. I love advocating for gender-based violence.
Right.
So we're trying to make sure that we gauge our activities and see how best we can partner with youth organizations to implement or support. For example, we're planning on doing a school outreach program where we walk into high schools from grade 7 to grade 10, and then we talk to the students about the importance of health. We mostly want to talk to girls about their menstruations, about period pains, period cramps, how to take care of themselves. Also, we've realized that recently there's been a lot of cases of people who are coming up with complaints of developing cysts and the likes. And these are also things that we want to talk to these young people about. A few months ago, my boss was talking about how we could come up with probably some packagings that when we go out to the schools, we could at least give a few girls to show them that these are some of the things that could help you through this period of your time. We're also looking into doing a free testosterone screening that is not yet finalized, but we're hoping that by the end of this week we'll be able to do that for the guys, yes. Because as much as we're trying to push the fight for women,
gender,
we don't, we want it to be balanced. So we want the men to also feel that this healthcare is also here for us.
Interesting.
Quite important. Now, are you planning to extend this to the rural Gambia? That is the screening process.
Yes. So for our 2021 plan, we're hoping that we cover the whole Gambia. So far, we've been to, we've done the KM, we've done West Coast, we've been to parts of North Bank, and I think LRR. But we're hoping that by 2020, because we have a plan for every 6 months. So we're hoping that by 2020 we're able to go to the most remote areas, because that's where most people need some of these health services and they can't access it. And you know, the thing with IGH is we're trying to promote mobile health. So it doesn't matter where you are, but you're able to access the services that you need. So yes.
Interesting. I mean, I think from everything that you've mentioned, it looks like our people want to know their status. They want to get tested. They want to know what's happening. But sometimes they don't have the means to do so. Or just maybe they need a little push or to show them that it's actually accessible for you to be able to get the health care you need. So I think what you're doing, I see this becoming the next big thing. And we're definitely looking out for the major projects on the pipeline. But let me just conclude with Clarissa, of course. From everything that you've seen, from these different screenings that you've conducted so far, going forward, what advice would you like to give the people? What has been your general observation regarding the health status in general?
Okay, so in general, actually, my advice to the people is, you know, we used to say, keep a good diet, have a good diet, exercise, take more water. You need at least 2 liters of water a day. And I usually tell my patients when they come to me, you know that 1.5 or the 500 meals, just fill up 4 of them and make sure you finish 4 in a day. I used to at least fill 4 in a day and make sure you drink it. And also when you are eating, there's a plate we used to say, make sure like half of your plate is mostly fruits and vegetables, and then the quarter of it is carbohydrates, and the other quarter is what's it called, protein. And then you have your 2 liters of water, and then try as much as possible to exercise like 3 times in a day, and also 3 times in a week rather, and also reduce salt intake, because hypertension is linked to high salt intake as well, especially in black people, because we have the ability to retain sodium, and the salt contains more of sodium. So we actually going to actually advise the people to reduce salt intakes and improve their health lifestyle in general. So that's just what
Now I'm scared. You know, I eat a lot of salt and I love spice a lot. So basically, Gambians love spicy food, and with spice you need salt.
Africans basically.
So let me say Africans, we are basically, and that is a little bit scary with what you have just said. So I think people need to be very careful in terms of that in order to keep it healthy and safe.
I mean, already the sequel, how you've put it, kind of looks healthy already. The way you said it, the protein, the veggies, the mineral, the water there. So I think I've already captured that in my head. I'll take note. And you make sure you take note too. You're always eating, what's that, chop shop salad and fries. We're eating all the time. Now, I'm not sure if that's free advert, but yeah, thank you so much for Ading and Clarissa. It's been great having you here. And we're definitely keeping an eye on Innovarex.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies. Well, we'll now take a short break and join Sainabo with Coffee With. When we return, the program continues.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Coffee With. I am your host, Saina Bujang, and with me today in the studio is a young man called Abdullah Njai. This young man is involved in so many things, but in particular, he has his own enterprise called Jabana Enterprise. So we'll do nothing but go into the interview and find out more about Mr. Njai and you know, why he's decided to set up this enterprise. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Do tell Coffee With, who was Abdullah Njai before he became the founder of Jabana Enterprise?
Yeah, all praises to Allah. We send blessings and salutation for our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yeah, basically, Abdullah Njai is like any other regular guy. The fact is, have been, as you say, I'm involved in so many things. But prior to setting up my business, I've worked in different institutions. I've worked as a marketing executive for IGI Gamstar Insurance Company Limited. After my graduation from the Gambia Technical Training Institute, I did also work in several engineering firms within the country. It was then in 2017 that I decided to set up my own enterprise.
Okay, nice. So usually I ask all my interviewees this question, but before we get there, what does Jabana stand for? Like the words, the letters, what does it stand for?
Yeah, basically it's an abbreviation of some of my family members.
Okay.
Starting from my mom, my dad, my other siblings.
Okay.
I just abbreviated it and it turned out as Jabana.
Okay.
So it sounded very nice to me, and I was like, I'm going to use this word for my business.
Nice. It's very unique as well.
Yeah, it's unique as well.
Compared to all other names, maybe it could be something technical or something. You know, you never know, but Jabana is unique, so I like that. Yeah. Okay, now tell us, what was it like growing up as a young Abdullah Njai?
Yeah, for me, growing up, I did, first of all, I say I'll return all thanks to God for, you know, putting me through a very good family. I came from a good family, a large one, for to an extent. I was raised by very good and supportive parents who have nurtured me well and have been very supportive in each and every step that I take in my life. Also have been really blessed with very sincere, supportive and empathetic friends. I have very good friends that surround me. I don't want to name names, but they know themselves.
Sure.
So they've also been integral part in my life, and together with my parents, the upbringing, and also I can say the environment too I grew up with. You have its flaws in one side, then you have the, you know, the good aspect in the other side.
Of course.
But I think suñu waxee ndongo Banjul na nga phrase la. Suñu waxee ndongo Banjul mi du ne bandi. Suñu ndongo Banjul mooy ku yaroo Banjul rek. So
like
you
a young
incorporate
man
both.
growing up in Banjul.
Yeah. So you know, so with that, I think I was raised well. I came also from a very good environment, a supportive environment as well. So those things combined, I think, have molded me into the person I am today.
Nice.
All right, welcome back to the AM show. We're coming to you live from our studios here on MDI Road. I am Fatuli Kamuloshi, and of course with me is Khadija. What do we have there?
Now, moving on, bullying, including cyberbullying, causes significant emotional and psychological distress. Just like any other victim of bullying, cyberbullying kids experience anxiety, fear, depression, and low self-esteem. Victims can suffer because of cyberbullying long-term after it ends. Now, being bullied can lead to a lifetime of low self-esteem. This may cause chronic fatigue, insomnia, and poor performance in school or at work. Victims of cyberbullying reported emotional concentration and behavioral issues, as well as trouble getting along with their peers. Well, laying plans to address such issues in the society is a group of concerned citizens who are planning to organize a fight against cyberbullying. We have Nima Bojang and Mary Kebaji, both cyberbullying activists, in our studio to discuss the plans they have in regards to these issues. Now, welcome to the program, ladies.
Thank you.
Now, let's start with the subject itself. When we say cyberbullying, actually, what are we trying to explain here?
Okay.
Thank you very much for having us. When we talk about cyberbullying, cyberbullying is an act that people usually do, irresponsibly using the internet to caricature people, trying to bring them down or trying to deform their character, which is very bad. In essence, that's our understanding of cyberbullying.
Now, looking at our societal settings, let me say the Gambia itself, what is the stage of cyberbullying currently in the country?
It is very alarming because it's causing a lot of damages. They're trying to silence people whose voice matters in society. And the funny thing is now they use this photo shoot. They will use a picture of that, some on images that you cannot just look at and put your head there. Usually people like us might understand. How about the people at the outskirts of town? They might not understand, and it will be like Gambia now. People are spoiled. Look at the girls, how they're exposing themselves and all that. So it's really, really bad, and it's coming up more. We've seen so many victims coming up the whole of this week. It's like every day one picture will come out or one video will come out of a certain individual that are very responsible and respectful in society.
Which depicts a very bad image of the country itself, not just Gambian women. You know, it's quite.
So it's that serious. Actually, like I don't know, for some reason, sometimes we hear about these things, but you realize that there are people sometimes who are always aware about when these events occur.
Yeah.
And I think a group of young people speaking against it, it's something that is a very good move, at least for the first time we're seeing in this country. Let me just shift to the other one there. Is it Mary? Yeah. Mary. Yeah. How did you people get to know about cases of cyberbullying? Is there an office directly responsible for this?
Okay, for us as an organization, most of the videos and most of the cases of cyberbullying were seen and known through the internet, like on Facebook, on Twitter, on all the other social media platforms. So it's rampant, and every day there is a new post, every day there is a new audio circulating. And when it comes to cyberbullying, it's not only defaming someone's picture or someone's character. It is also, you know, being abusive to the person on social media, or let's say you created an audio insulting someone and saying things that might not even be true to the person. All those are part of cyberbullying, and we realize that it's becoming too much because every day there is a new post, every day there is a new case, there is a new audio, there is a new video, and it's becoming too much. We don't want that for our society because it's not healthy. We don't want our next generation to be victims of rampant cyberbullying and all that, because the Gambia is not known for that. That's why we deem it fit as responsible young Gambians to fight this as early as possible to avoid it becoming out of control. Because maybe if someone does it and it's okay, another person does it and it's okay, like everyone who has a problem with someone else will think it's okay, and this is the place to fight this. So I will come up with a video, or I will come up with an audio, you know, saying all sorts of things, what I know and what I do not know about you, and all that. It's not healthy for our society. It's not good for our life.
I think social media these days has really taken a very interesting turn. I mean, shifting from how we were able to use it as a very positive space, you know, to do our activism,
connect to people,
you know, to connect, to meet people. Now you think it has become a fighting ground for people. It has become a venting ground.
It's like a hunting ground, you know. Everyone is hunting the other. You know, it's like a witch
fighting zone or something.
And you'll be surprised even your friends can turn against you on social media because it's social media.
Social media, well, that's social media for you.
Right.
Now, obviously, it's a group, so you guys must be more than, let me say, 20 or 3 people. How were you able to identify each other to come together? Were you able to speak to the victims directly, or you just choose people from different organizations to gather yourself and march against cyberbullying?
Okay, well, through social media, I will say again.
Okay.
So we realized that we had a common goal, and we were all against the same issue. So we decided to come together through social media, of course. So it means there are also positive aspects of the social media, and that's why we want people to understand the real purpose of social media. So this is how we came together. We formed a group, and then we started joining people with the same aim and objective. We started working together, and that's how we moved forward. And some other organizations also are part of us, and their members are also joining. Like every day we have new people joining in, and I think like Gambians are really concerned about this, and I think they will welcome the initiative because it's something that everyone is interested about. Yes.
I think what's even more interesting about this is also having a law or some sort of legislation that deters people from doing so. Because if you feel like there's no law, that is kind of, again, I know the internet should be a safe space for everybody. We should not be kind of like, you know, restricted, you understand, as to how we use the internet or how we utilize our data. But at the same time, I think when it comes to the negative, you know, consequences associated with how people are using it, abusing people emotionally, you know, mentally, cyberly, you have countries that are putting these laws into place. I think we also, because nowadays we're seeing so many cases like you've mentioned. You know what I'm talking about. Perpetrators bullying their victims into silence, and then nothing gets to be done about it. People taking and photoshopping people, nothing gets to be done about it. Somebody needs to be held accountable. Are you also intending on taking the step a little bit further to that direction?
Yes, we are working on that, and actually concerning this very particular issue, we've involved the National Assembly and all our lawmakers and all the stakeholders responsible for implementing laws and also, you know, bringing on laws. We have involved all of them, like everybody. They are all aware, they have all received their letters, and we also invited them to join the march past on the 28th, that is Saturday, from Alliance Franco to the Youth Monument. So after the march past, we will see how best to work with them to make sure there is a law governing everyone who is violating or going against someone's right in the name of, you know, freedom of speech or freedom of right.
Or right, and where another man's right begins.
Exactly,
violent, that
so
is no more freedom
they
of
think
speech.
it's their right to say whatever, because, you know, some will say, hi, suma WhatsApp la mom suma audio or suma Facebook la my post lumane and all that. But, you know, posting what you want or saying what you want should not affect someone else. You cannot use your right to abuse someone else's right.
So I keep saying this. It's not because maybe I was a former law student or something, but I believe in every sector when it comes to schools. People need to understand when we talk about right or when we talk about democracy, you know, I think people do not understand this term itself. So that is why the abuse of the word itself is becoming rampant, because people think, oh, it's freedom of speech, it's freedom of movement, I can do whatever I want, it's my phone, it's my data, so I can say anything about Nyima, nothing will happen. I can say anything about Mary, nothing will happen because I'm the one typing it. No, if you are expressing your right, remember, that person also have their own right, because where your right ends is where another man's right begins. So people need to understand this. If we all understand this on a common ground, then I think the society itself will become a better place for every single person, which is very important.
Definitely, yeah. So Nyima, I mean, where are we headed next? So what's your plan? You have a march past coming? Where is this taking
we have
place?
a march past coming. It's Saturday. It's going to be a very peaceful assembly. We're going to raise our voice. We want the lawmakers, because it's usually some countries in Africa, this is already a law. But in Uganda, it happened to a party leader, a whole party leader. He went to the police station. They said they don't deal with social media stuff. And then we wanted to make it a law in the Gambia. We have to sing it to the National Assembly members, to the stakeholders. Let them join hands, and let's use the internet responsibly. Let's not just be bullying each other, and you think that you can just use your data, you use your phone, say anything about another person. And it's really sad. Gambia, we are all one family. But you see somebody who come fabricate against you, talk about your father, your forefathers, and all that. You just wonder where all this is coming from. So we need to come together, let them make this a law, so that it will be in the constitution that section so if you do this to somebody, you will be accountable. You can even be charged to court and all that. Then people will take this cyberbullying very serious. I was a victim of cyberbullying. I know how it feels.
I mean, we've all been there in one way or the other. So we definitely know how that feels. And
it's interesting that this March Past came about now that we're advocating, let me say, the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. So I think it actually came at the right point that people need this, because most of the victims, though men are also victims, but we have seen women that have suffered a lot. Because sometimes when these women come out to speak, oh, that is not me, it is not my picture, I was not the one. People tend not to believe based on the societal settings. You know how Gambia is, you know. So it's quite crazy, and
it's really sad, and mostly like when it comes to emotions, like the way men handle it and the way women handle it is different.
Because men know they can easily talk their way out.
Exactly.
Because in our society, it's easier to believe a man
women
than
are
believe a woman,
marginalized.
because we already have a way we've labeled women that they, in most cases, promiscuous. But when a man says no, it was fabricated, it's easier for society, our society, to believe them than us. So we get affected even more emotionally.
That's really, and it has a long-term effect on women, because most people don't want to associate themselves with you when this happened. You know, nobody else is going to marry her. Look, our pictures are everywhere, and even though you try to clear your name out, you know, it's not me. Still, people look at you with that eyes, you know, and psychologically, this can have a huge impact on your health and other aspects of your life. You know?
I think that's why now most of our women are strong and they're fighters, because definitely you realize you have to be an extra fighter in this community, in this society, to survive. So.
And the worst part is that, like, some people will just believe according to the story someone tell them. They will not even get to the root of the story. They will not even try to find out what really happened. Someone will just say, okay, I saw a video of this girl and this and this and that. That one will also take the news without even seeing the video.
And they keep sharing it.
Exactly. That's how it's circulating. Everyone will be pointing fingers at her. This is the girl they saw the picture the last, and this is this. And they don't even know the root cause of the whole thing.
And Nima, coming to that, Mary, not to cut you off, but I think women need to stand together, just like what Mulo said, that now women are ready to fight. You know, in cases like this, when we create that space to believe each other, when videos or pictures like this come out, we can stand together and fight. But if one woman is affected by this and you are like, oh, this is how women are, oh, you know, she's like this, she like asking men for that is why this happened, then how do you expect things like this to come out?
I used to say that we, the women, we are our own enemies.
We are our own enemies.
When it happened to a one-media personality, and I had to call our people, and everybody was taking excuses. He's not supporting my party, he's not this and that. I said, despite of politics, let's see Gambia she is a mother, and she is a Gambian for that matter. Let's just see that and fight for her as a woman.
Goal, obviously.
Yeah, and then we did it, and then we won.
Yeah, that is why I said
come together as a woman
that speak up, because you never know who's going to be the next person. Do not say it's not my business, it's our business. It's everybody's business, because every day we're seeing these dynamics, especially for us who are in the, you know, the public space, and then you're in the media, you have a voice. Most of the time, these are the people that people target the most.
They try to silence
you. So you have to be able to use that same space to speak against these issues. But we're glad that something like this is happening, and also also very happy that you're looking forward to, you know, kind of engaging lawmakers to come up with a form of legislation. So if somebody comes at me, I waste no time in getting my lawyers and we go straight to court. That's that simple.
Exactly.
But right, thank you so much, Clarissa and Mary, for coming through, and we're definitely looking forward to more. Nima.
Thank you.
Mary and Nima, Clarissa from
Clarissa was
IGH.
there actually, so she's still having that in her
Right.
head.
So those are young people from the Cyberbullying Association, a new one per se, but definitely an interesting one to look out for. We'll go for a short break, Adi. When we come back, we'll take a look at some sports this time.
Hey, I am Sister Ya.
Hi, this is X-Mile.
Hi, this is Sex.
Hello, I'm Ronald.
Hi, I am Anna Mane, a fashion designer.
I am Danny Constant.
And I'm Fanta Jamba Sise.
AM show, I'm watching each and every AM. So every Gambian and every person watch the AM show each and every day. Hey, chahan kuwandati jenka bitol fale dak. Ifele katamo komansaki inyal ben kanchak kole ko simbe duma sabe duma fonse mutaletap konye general webo kadi amulimo yefimak victory top of the top no fit songs them go top dan salman go chop if I no really bones we adapt skank the AM show afoba mad.
All right, welcome back to the AM show, and in fact, we have our sports commentator join us here in the studio. Farmer, welcome to the AM show once again.
Thank you, Molo. It's always a pleasure to be here.
I mean, a lot of things have been happening. Our under 20, you know, under 20 Scorpions are in Senegal for the Wafu. You know, Farmer, it was a shock when we were beating 5. I'm like, what? How did that happen? Before we got the 2 later on, because I know the 2 is what's going to interest you the most, but it's important to also talk about the 5.
The 5, actually, you know that knowing you are playing against your neighbors, I mean, there's always pride at stake when Gambia has to play against Senegal. I mean, they don't take the game with any joke, they take it with maximum seriousness, because, I mean, the victory aside, there is something more important attached to the contest between these two countries. I mean, Senegalese knew very well that playing at home against the Gambia, losing to the Gambia might be something that will stay with them for a lifetime. So as a result, they put up a maximum, a respectable performance to at least taught our young football stars a footballing lesson. It was a deserved victory for them, even though there were queries about the penalty decisions. But I mean, they were all genuinely awarded penalties, so we can't say anything about that. But it's great to see them bounce back, I mean, from that to at least record a 2-1 win against Sierra Leone to advance to the, next stage of the competition. So that shows the spirit in them. They were not carried away by, they don't just indulge themselves, or they don't allow that to cover their minds. They just take it as something that is past and decided to focus on what the future has in store for them. So it's good to see them still remain in the competition and going into the semi-finals of the competition. That's quite important. Yeah, and that aside, in footballing world, yesterday we heard about the death of Diego Armando Maradona. He has been widely regarded by many as one of the football greatest. Mara is a player, who set an identity, who left a mark in football that will be quite difficult for any young player to fill. He's just an amazing talent. He has played for Argentina, played for Boca Juniors, played for Sevilla, played for Napoli, played briefly for Barcelona, and he's a World Cup winning player with Argentina. In 1986, he used his hand to ensure that Argentina laid their hand on the
That
World
hand,
Cup
I don't
trophy.
understand.
The
What
hand of God, he will call him. He will call it. I mean, it's something that no one was able to detect. He used his hand to score that goal.
I mean, it was like he could not head or
he
use
jumped
his
with
leg
the
or nothing,
goalkeeper.
so he had
So
to.
when he jumped,
hungry.
knowing that the goalkeeper also raised the hand
Yeah.
out, so very intelligently reacted quickly.
Look at the hand of God.
Yeah, the hand of God. Because the hand of the goalkeeper was there, he also pulled out his hand, touched the ball. So the referee was confused. I mean,
how comes no one detected?
no one detected. He will call. He said when he raised up his hand,
God.
the hand of God also came in. So it was that
Yeah.
one that touched the ball. That is why no one was able to. I mean, it's a sad news for the footballing world. I mean, a lot of tributes have been paid to him. Messi paid a tribute. I mean, Ronaldo, all these great players, Pele, someone that he played against. I mean, during his days, and his former team. Napoli are considering, I mean, naming their stadium after renaming actually their stadium after Diego Armando Maradona. I mean, he's a global icon. He's an activist. I mean, he's a role model. He's an inspirational body on and off the pitch. Maradona is gone
And
so
it's very
early for the
entertaining,
footballing
you know.
world. It's a
It's
shocking
never a
news.
dull moment with him.
Yeah, and that aside, the Champions League is also on and going. Yesterday, we saw some astonishing results. I mean, Liverpool, of all people, were being taught a footballing lesson when they were defeated 2-0 against Atalanta.
Liverpool.
Yeah,
Senghor
with,
must not be happy.
with all their big players. I mean, they actually lost by 2-0 without scoring actually a goal in that contest. So,
Right.
I mean, there were other results as well, briefly. You know, we saw this Mönchengladbach beating Shakhtar Donetsk 4-0. I mean, actually, Man City, who progressed to the next stage, recorded a 1-0 win against Olympiacos. Real Madrid also secured a very important 2-0 win against Inter Milan. So these are some of the happenings.
Interesting things. Very well. I think one thing to take away from this week is the death of Maradona, and they're on a 3-day national mourning there in Argentina, and I think that is definitely something that they had to do for the lost icon. But Farmer, it's been great having you on the AM show always, and Farmer is of course our producer and director for today's AM show as usual. But Kadi, we've run completely out of time.
Yes, we now draw the curtains on today's edition for the show. Many thanks for joining us, and do have a blessed day.
Bye for now.